here on YouTube. Make sure the Zoom is streaming over there. All right. And trying to figure out, welcome guys to the live. Hopefully you can see me. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's just see, I should start to see the comments come in here soon, and we'll just get started. So I'm just getting connected here. Whether you're on the Zoom call with me, that's awesome. Whether you're on YouTube, that's awesome too. I'm also live streaming on Instagram and on Facebook. So we'll get started here in just a minute, guys. Almost ready to go, guys. Just got a few more connections. It's just getting all set up here. Make sure everybody is able to join. It looks like everyone is getting in. Good. Hi, Clint. Thank you so much. Filippo, thank you for being here. Let's see. Who do we have in the Zoom call? We have Vanessa, Curtis. Thank you so much for being here. We are live on Instagram. And then let me just connect up to live on Facebook. Definitely want to go live on Facebook. Good. Okay. Welcome, guys. I'm super excited to get going here. Facebook, I always have trouble with Facebook. It seems like Facebook going live is always the hardest. Okay. Well, whether you're joining me on my YouTube channel, whether you're inside of the Zoom call, whether you are on Instagram, I appreciate everyone being here. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about just succeeding with selling on Amazon in 2021. I hope everyone had a great holiday season. I hope all of you had a wonderful, new year, 2020. What a year it was. Wow. One for the record books for sure. In today's live, I will definitely share some of my top lessons I'm taking away from 2020 and really share where my business is at. I'll give you some updates on where my business is at as far as my sales and my Amazon products. Let's go over and talk about what products and niches did the best in 2020 and what types of products and categories should you guys be focusing on in 2021. There's certain niches and categories that did the best and products that made the most money. So I'll talk about that too. I'm just getting going here as far as the live video on Facebook. So that should be ready to go any minute here. And then I will get started. How's everyone doing today? Thank you, Noah, for being here. Thank you, Natasha, Eric, Jim, Shay. Thank you so much for being here. No, Shay, you weren't late. It was just, I'm just running just a few minutes late as far as getting the Facebook live to go. We're also live on Instagram. Let me just see who's in the Zoom chat here. Awesome. We have Steven, we have Chris, we have Tamer, we have Curtis, we have Vanessa. Thank you everyone so much for being here. I'm just getting started here on Facebook and then we'll get going. Okay, awesome guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. What we're going to talk about today is succeeding on Amazon in 2021. So whether you guys are brand new sellers or you've been selling for a while, you guys know, wow, 2020, what a year it was. One for the record books. I ended the year with my best year ever, not only for my Amazon business, but I had built out and also started selling on Shopify. So I started selling on Shopify. I started selling, I got approved and an application granted for selling on Walmart as a third-party seller. So I've got, obviously you want to focus on selling on Amazon first, right? Because the most eyeballs are on Amazon. So if you're just getting started, this is your first product, your first e-commerce brand, of course you want to, focus on Amazon first. It has the most eyes on it. And then as you launch products and get more experience, then you can really focus on, branching out onto your own Shopify store. What else? And Walmart. And I will be doing a video. I think I promised that in my last live. It just took a little bit longer than I expected to get going with my Walmart application. I had to get it going, and I'm just got inventory to a 3PL, and I'll be selling at least one product on Walmart. So I'll keep you guys updated on that and how I'm liking Walmart. It's totally different selling on Walmart as far as the algorithm, as far as PPC, running sponsored ads, how the ranking works. Totally different than Amazon for sure. So whether you guys are joining me on Instagram, first time doing a live on Instagram, I appreciate you guys here. Lewis, Freshly Daniel, Luis, May, thank you for being here. Liz, Chucks, Chris, thank you for being here. Curtis, Steven, Tamer, Vanessa. I appreciate everyone joining me. So I'll be starting off. Let me just give you guys some top tips for succeeding selling on Amazon, like the title for 2021. And then we'll go into live Q&A. I love answering your guys' questions. 2020, what a year though. Wow. I'd say one of the biggest lessons I came away and learned in 2020 was not only how important it is to, of course, be online and sell products online, but to really stand out and differentiate. There's a lot of Chinese competitors entering the market. We've got a lot of competition coming in. And so whatever product you decide on to sell, or whatever product you are selling, want to make sure that we're really focusing on building a brand. Some term that you may be aware of or maybe not is called guerrilla marketing. This is like an all forward push to try to get your product out there. What's so good about your product? How does your product add value to your customers' lives? Does it solve a problem? Can you make some emotional connection to your customer on your listing, through your photos? Of course, the main image is the most important because that shows to all of your customers first, your main image, your title, your price, and your reviews. A lot of people are seeing that through your PPC and just, product detail pages, but through your photos, through your bullet points, through your description. Are you making an emotional connection with the customer, showing them and telling them not only how your product will benefit them and what problems it solves and why it's better, highlighting the main selling features, but also connecting with them on emotional level. One tip I use for listing optimization, getting more sales, is bringing up a problem the customer didn't even know he or she had. And just really showing how your product is better. Of course, you can check now to see if you're able to upload videos to your listing. You may have the ability to upload a video to your product images. Not all sellers have that ability that don't have brand registry. I'm talking about sellers with no brand registry. You may or may not be able to upload a video. You can check though. Amazon is in beta phase testing. Sellers with no brand registry are, they've let about half start uploading videos to their listing. So you can go to your inventory, manage upload videos, and see if you're eligible. If you don't have brand registry, you go to inventory, manage upload videos, and it just says apply for brand registry. You won't be able to upload a video, but it's worth checking. And of course, everyone can upload a video down above their reviews. You can have a customer or pay someone to do a video for you, a review on your product, and paste that down below on your listing above your reviews for no brand registry. So not only 2020, I took away not only the importance of being online, selling online, branching out, selling high quality products that solve a problem. The products that did the best in 2020 were like, essentials, of course, but products that solve a problem. Arts and crafts was up like 200%. Home and kitchen products was up like 900%. What other ones? Industrial and scientific has a lot of cool products in there. That one was really popular. Same thing with like at-home activities. So those categories and types of products did the best in 2020. Going into 2021, you can still look for products in those categories. Arts, crafts, and sewing. Beauty and personal care was also a big one. Beauty and personal care, people wanting to, they can't go to the spa, they can't go to the salon or the barber. shop, nail salon. So they, we're doing at-home beauty products. Were sold very well. Arts, crafts, and sewing. Puzzles was up like 400%. Home and kitchen items was up big time. And just an odd one, you guys, may not realize. I don't recommend selling these, but shoes. Like people were buying shoes a lot, maybe as a collection piece or something else. But I thought that was really interesting. So thanks, Luis, for being here. Hi, Mohammed. Thank you so much for being here. We have Mohammed. We have Nadia. Thank you for being here. Liz and May joining, and Chuck's joining on Facebook. Thank you guys so much. On YouTube, hello to Noah, Clint, Natasha, Eric, Jim, Shay, Nathan Clark, Varnaz, Wes, Go Simple, Edward, and Zubar. Hope I pronounced your name right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And we have Tamer, Vanessa, Stephen, Curtis, Chris, all joining us in this private Zoom call. So whether you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or on Zoom, please let me know what questions you guys have. Go ahead and start sending me your questions. I've got one that came in. Please explain more your answer to my question about I'm going to be going out of stock for 2 or 3 weeks and what to do if you're going out of stock. So going out of stock, you're going to lose ranking. Anything you do, you will lose some ranking going out of stock. It's just a matter of how long you're going to be out of stock. If you're out of stock for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, you can recover pretty easily. But if you're out of stock for a month, 4 weeks or more, it's almost like you're going to have to do a whole relaunch. But I recommend if you're running out of stock, go out of stock with strong sales. You can cut back on your PPC spend on your budgets. If you're spending $50 a day or $100 a day, cut back 25% of that. So go down to like $30 a day. And so cut back your budgets. You can pause a campaign that's not performing very well or that you were testing. Go ahead and turn that down. If you're making an average of like 10 to 20 sales per day and you're going to be running out of stock, you can up your price just a few dollars. You can slow your PPC spend a little bit. We just want to, go from like the 15 sales a day you've been making down to like 10, but you don't want it to go down to like 5 because that will really, really hurt your ranking. As far as closing the listing, do you recommend I close the listing? There's 2 different ways you can go about it if you're running out of stock. You can just let the listing go inactive, out of stock, which is what I usually do, and it's always worked well for me. You just let the listing go inactive, out of stock, and then when you do your new shipping plan as soon as possible to let Amazon know when your inventory will arrive. Under the offer tab, when you go to the top offer and then edit and then offer, you want to fill in the launch date. There's a restock date. Okay, you want to make sure that you are filling in those to let Amazon know when you're restocking, when new products will be there. And sometimes it's under the more details tab. So check there too. So fill those in. And then on the very last step of the shipping plan, there's also a part where you can put in a date you expect the products to be handed off to the shipping carrier. If you're out of stock for 3-4 weeks or more, I do recommend you go ahead and close the listing. But if you're only out of stock for 1, 2, or 3 weeks or less, just inactive out of stock is okay. Paluz, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's see what questions we have. So Eric, is category important? I ordered my first product, but just realized most current listings are in a restricted category. Eric, great question. And thank you for being here. Categories are super important. The main category is the most important. The subcategories are less important, but the main category is the most important because once you make the listing or classify the product, whatever main category you select, you can never change it. The subcategories are less important because Amazon essentially is going to rank you in those subcategories depending on, what search terms and how you rank. You're making sales off and how you rank. But when you classify the product and select the main category, you can never change it. So categories, selecting a category is really important. As far as like maybe you have a product that could be sold or you see most of the competitors are like split half and half. Half of the products are in beauty and personal care and half of the products are in home and kitchen. Or let me give you a better example. Let's say you're looking at a product you want to sell. Half of the listings are in lighting category, or let's say they're in automotive. Half the products are in automotive. The other half are in sports and outdoors. Well, automotive is gated and restricted and very hard to get approval in. And so I would recommend going with the home and kitchen one. But you have to make sure, a sports and outdoors category, but you have to make sure that there are a couple other sellers listed in sports and outdoors versus automotive actually making sales. Okay. So automotive is restricted. Lighting products are restricted. A lot of beauty products like topical creams, lotions, cosmetics are all restricted. So category is important. The subcategory is not as much of an importance there. And then if it's split half and half, go with the category that either doesn't have any restrictions on it, or go with the main category and subcategories that your competitors are doing the most revenue, making the most sales in. Okay, Edward, what is the best way to deal with Amazon's compliance requests, mainly in toys category? Edward, great question. You know, toys and games, we just came out of Q4, and toys and games is restricted in Q4. Super hard to get approval in. Amazon shut down toys and games about 2 years ago. They just cut back. No one can list new products in toys and games if you're a new seller or first time listing in toys and games. You can't create a listing October, November, December. They just shut toys and games category down. The reason they did that was because they had so many fake products, fake Star Wars, fake Nikes, not Nikes, fake Star Wars, you know, Legos, those types of brands selling knockoffs during the holidays when people are really buying gifts. And so Amazon cut off toys and games. For as far as tips, Edward, on how to get approval in toys and games, there's two different things usually that will work. Either one, like an invoice from your supplier. An invoice from your supplier will usually work, but it has to you know, go with the Amazon guidelines. There's certain things that needs to be within the last 90 days, be for 10 units or more, and it has to have like the full name and address of the supplier. The other option is to send pictures of your product and packaging, and if a safety certificate if your supplier has one for the toys and games product. And one of those routes will usually get you approval. Enigma 55, what is the best launch strategy in your experience? I'm launching 2 products soon. Congratulations, that is so awesome. Happy to hear you're getting ready to launch. What's working the best right now, guys, getting your product to page 1? I recommend the search, find, buy strategy. If you're not familiar with search, find, buy, what search, find, buy is you set up either friends and family or a service to do this for you. And let's say you want to rank for the keyword honey pot. The search volume is, let's say, 18,000. It's a little high, but how about a ceramic honey pot is only 9,000 search volume. Go after the ceramic honey pot because there's probably less competing products, a little bit less search volume, but still 8,000 or 9,000 search volume. So go after ceramic honey pot. You'd want that keyword in your title. You'd want to select 2 or 3 other main keywords like that and have them in your title throughout your listing, in all your PPC campaigns, and then use the search, find, buy services or set them up yourself, like Rebate Key, Treasure Hunt feature. Rebate Key will do search, find, buy, and is powerful. Boost Rooster is another good service for search, find, buy, and azrank.com. You want to focus on it's actually very, very similar to the Maldives honeymoon period that Helium 10 came out with. And so if you haven't watched that episode about the Maldives honeymoon period for launching, it's really the best strategy that's working the best right now. And the Maldives honeymoon period, just to wrap it up kind of quickly, what that is you pick your top like 2 to 5 best keywords, looking at the total competing products, the CPR number, the search volume, you put those in your title, those keywords, you put them in all your PPC campaigns, and then you set up search, find, buy purchases for those keywords. And even if you can get like 3, 4, 5 purchases for that keyword, meaning the customer goes onto Amazon, they type in ceramic honey pot, they go page by page by page, and they find your product and buy it, that's the fastest way to rank your product to page 1. Brian, I have a product with 3 variations. My question is about shipping quantity. Is it 200 for all of them or 200 for each variation? Go simple, it's 200 pieces for each variation. So if you have 3 variations, even if they're all linked up on one parent listing, so you have 1 parent listing and 3 child listings, you would be able to ship 600 into Amazon, 246. So 200 of each ASIN. And essentially you create 3 listings and then link them up to a parent listing. And then so you'll be able to send 600. Thank you very much. Yeah, no problem, Eric. Filippo, I ordered my first product when there aren't so much competition. I want to start selling this product in February, and now it's very, very competitive. What is the best launch strategy? The Maldives honeymoon period, search, find, buy is the best way to target less competitive keywords, but highly relevant. Put them in your title, in your PPC campaign, set up search, find, buy, and that's the best way to launch. Okay, let's see, out of stock for 2 or 3 weeks. We covered that. How do you charge seller home to the Prime member customers on Amazon? I'm not sure what you mean there, Liz. Try sending me that question again. What are points you can make when negotiating with a supplier or freight forwarder? I'm fairly new to negotiating to both of them, but I am having trouble on coming up with ways to negotiate. There's 2 main ways or best ways to negotiate with your supplier or freight forwarder. Supplier mainly here, guys, I'm talking about. The best way is probably having a purchase order or an official quote invoice from a different supplier for the same product, maybe even a little better product, more accessories come with it. And you show that main supplier you want to work with the secondary supplier's quote, and you ask them if they would be willing to match the price. And then let's say your supplier you want to work with is at $10 per unit. You have a quote for $7 per unit from another supplier. Maybe you can meet in the middle at $9.50 or $8.50, okay? And then the second best way to get lower costs from your supplier and to negotiate, the second best way is to tell them that you're working with a business partner or you have a boss above you. And when it comes time to negotiate the final terms and pricing of your order, you can let them know, hey, my boss or my business partner is not okay with the $10 price point. He's requesting we do $8.50. Is there any way we can compromise and meet in the middle? Also, guys, build a really strong relationship with your supplier. You know, I send my supplier a Chinese New Year gift, a little red envelope with coins, Chinese coins in it, and money sometimes. I send them something for other Chinese holidays, like in October for their harvest festival, moon harvest festival. Building a personal relationship, good relationship with your supplier is super helpful. When I am close to being out of stock, I increase my price to decrease the amount of daily sales I'm getting. Does that hurt my ranking? Yes, you don't want to decrease sales too much. If you're making 15 sales per day now, and you cut back or you raise your price a little bit, cut back on PPC, and you go down to like 10 to 15 sales, that's okay. But you don't want to go below that. So if you've been averaging 15 sales a day, you raise the price too much, PPC kind of stops and you stop making more than 10 sales. You make like 8 sales or 5 sales for several days. That will hurt your ranking. Tabish, thank you for being here. Anon, thank you so much for watching. Arfrat, hello, brother. My IP score is 540, and 2 days ago, I was able to create a shipping plan for 208 while already sending 99 units on the way, but I didn't complete the shipping plan. Do you know what happened to that? I would go into your manage FBA shipping plans. You can get there by going to the top left inventory, go down to manage FBA shipping plans. The next screen, click on this. You can take a look at what shipping plans you have done in the past or that are open or you're working on. Click on that shipping plan ID or name, and then either delete it on the very next page, go to the very bottom left, delete the plan altogether and start over, or continue working with that same shipping plan. What is the add to cart strategy for keyword ranking? The add to cart strategy, guys, is kind of like tricking the Amazon algorithm. You know, when customers go to buy your product, they click add to cart, buy now. Amazon tracks that. So if they see a customer was on your listing for 1 minute, that's a session. They clicked on the add to cart. Amazon considers that a conversion. And so there's services out there that will kind of trick the system, adding a bunch to cart And that essentially, in theory, is supposed to help you rank. But what would be even better is search, find, buy, verified full price purchases, even better than add to cart. So add to cart is okay, but it's just kind of tricking the Amazon system. Okay, let's go over here. Next question. I want to start selling in February. We covered that. Is it best to stay in one category, or seems a separate insurance policy is required by insurance company for each category? So talk a little bit about insurance and categories. So trying to launch products in 2021, guys, do try to stay in one. Corey, thank you for being here. Try staying in one category. Absolutely. Try to launch products in one or two categories. Focus on building a brand. I know people say that a lot, build a brand, build a brand. What does that actually mean? Well, that just means you do product research, you find a product or two that look good in one category, you decide to come up with a logo, you get a logo done on Fiverr, we send it to the supplier, we order a custom sample, the supplier, we need them to put the logo on the product and the packaging, you order a custom sample, you like everything, you move forward with an order, you order the product, have it shipped to Amazon, launch the product, you get your brand name entered on the listing, and now you've created a private label brand. And so you do want to focus on doing that, and then you can kind of dominate one brand at a time. And when you go to get a trademark, you have to classify the product in, you got to classify the product in one category, the trademark in one market or category. And so when you go to get a trademark, it's going to require that you pick one market or category. And if you decide to sell in different categories or go from, if your trademark is for home and kitchen and you go now into baby, it requires another, $300, $400, $500 fee, registration fee for that new market. Insurance, you're not required to have insurance until you are doing, I think it's $10,000 in revenue or more. $10,000 in sales for 3 consecutive months. Same thing with sales tax in the state your inventory is kept. You're not required to pay sales tax on the states your inventory is kept until you're doing $10,000 in revenue or sales per month or more for 3 consecutive months. Instead of buying insurance, guys, for your Amazon business, what you can just do instead to start with is register your business as an LLC or S Corp. But LLC is probably the most popular, limited liability corporation. This will provide you some protection in case somebody gets hurt with one of your products. They can only sue your business assets. So like the value of your inventory for your computer, for your business. They can't come after your house or car, okay? So setting up a limited liability corporation is one of the best ways you can protect yourself. S Corp is what I have. So check out an S Corp or C Corp. S Corp has some other tax benefits. When it comes time to pay sales tax on the person, I pay myself a salary and I'm not taxed double like I am with having an LLC. But LLC is great for new sellers and gives you some protection instead of having to go out and buy insurance. Okay. At Maine, thank you for being here. Linda, thank you for joining. Corey, thank you for being here. Erica, thank you. I've got about 20 different products in the beauty category. Listings, sales have been hit and miss this month. What can I do to increase my sales? Edward, the first thing I would do is plug in each one of your ASINs one by one into Cerebro and add them to Keyword Tracker. But first, Cerebro, each ASIN goes into Cerebro, sort by search volume, look at your top keywords that have the highest search volume, look on the far right side at your organic rank position. What number are you in? If your position rank is like 60 and higher for all your top keywords, that's not good. You're not on page 1. You want position rank 1 through 20. That means you're on page 1. As you start to rank in position 1 through 20 on your top keywords for your product, that automatically will mean for like each keyword you get to position 1 through 20 on page 1 for, like 5 to 10 sales per day, organic, once you start ranking for these keywords. So that's the first step I would do if the beauty category products are hit and miss. Plug in each ASIN one by one into Cerebro and take a look at your organic keyword ranking. Once you find out which keywords am I position 64, 44, 104, target those more in your PPC campaigns and through search, find, buy purchases. Okay, Linda, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you were able to join. I know it's early. I think it's early where you're at, or maybe it's midday now in Malaysia. Hi, Brian, or Indonesia. What is the best strategy to get past the 200 unit limit for brand new sellers? Do we have to find a slower moving product? Good question. 200 units all we can ship in as a new, if you're a new seller, or for new ASINs, or for those sellers that have an IPI score 450, 450 or less, under 450. So you can do a couple of things with the 200 unit limit. You can either start off with just launching 200 units, send 200 to Amazon, and just see how the product goes. Now, you probably will run out of stock quickly if you've done your research correctly. So I usually recommend for most products, you order 300 to 500 units for a new product launch, essentially if you're not doing a test launch. So go ahead and order 300, 500 units. You can send, if you're ordering 300, you'll send 200 directly to Amazon. The other 100 you can send to your house if you have room for the storage of them for about a month and a half or two, or to a 3PL to store those extra 100 units is really the only two ways to get around that. There's no hack or trick that I have other than increasing your sales. Decreasing the amount of units you have at Amazon and increasing your sales will make your IPI score go higher. And then restock limits and inventory limits are two separate things. But yeah, get your IPI score above 450 by having good sales, by not keeping too much slow moving inventory in an Amazon warehouse. That's the best way to increase your IPI and then be able to send in more inventory. Okay, let me just look at the chat here. Stephen, I pre-launched too early, left my listing inactive with a launch date and restock date. Now I have stock. Inactive. I have stock and first launch is still no ranking. I pre-launched too early, left my listing inactive with a launch date and restock date. Now I have stock and first launch with no ranking. It sounds like you're saying that you created the listing, you let it just be inactive, which is the correct thing to do, Stephen. You put a launch date, offer release date, start date in the future, which is the right thing to do. Estimate it when your product is going to arrive to the Amazon warehouse, but still no ranking. So it's time to do an official launch, even though you're kind of backlogged. Maybe your product even maybe went active a week or two ago. I would still recommend you go ahead and start an official launch. Now, I have a launch document that I'd be happy to share with you if you want to message me on Facebook Messenger. What I can do is send you that launch document that will go over kind of the best strategies for launch, how to get your first few sales, your first few reviews, and I'm adding to that all the time, the best methods that are working. Okay, next question. One second. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, man. Zoom. Okay, got it. Sorry, somebody's microphone was on, so we were hearing their music. I hope I didn't lose too many of you guys. Let's get right back into it. Is it okay to use the contact buyer within the order? Is it against terms of service to use the buyer seller messages? I'm hesitant to do that, or using a service like Feedback Whiz. Is that okay? Can I contact the buyer? Is that all right? Yes, you can go ahead and use follow-up emails or Feedback Whiz. I have the most experience using Helium 10 follow-up. Helium 10 follow-up. So you can try that out. What works better than the Helium 10 follow-up or sending buyer seller messages? 60% of customers actually don't receive those. And so what would work better is to use the request review button, which is in your Seller Central account in your manage orders, or an effective product insert card. Now, if you guys don't have product insert cards, it's one of the most powerful ways to get reviews, to connect with your customers, collect their data, etc. An effective product insert card providing some additional piece of value can really, really get you more reviews. The insert card, I usually have like my brand logo on there. I have a little thank you note. I have my brand mission statement. I have a request for a review and my social media page links. And then usually I'll have either a link or a QR code that the customer can scan and be taken to a landing page. If you guys don't know what a landing page is, it's just like a mini little website that the customer will go to. They will give you their name and email. In exchange, you will send them the additional piece of value, whether that's a warranty card, a quick start guide, recipe book, ebook, all those things are fine. Next question, let me jump on over here. Next question right over here on YouTube about search, find, buy. If you are not in the first 7 pages, can you make search, find, buy work? Yeah, so that's going to come down to running your ASIN in Cerebro and taking a look. So when you run your ASIN in Cerebro and look at your position rank, you want to go after keywords that are highly relevant to your products. You don't want to go after keywords that are non-relevant, or when you open up that keyword on Amazon, it's really not mostly your products or competitors. So 1, pick highly relevant keywords. Number 2, you have to look at your organic rank and which ones you have the highest chance of getting to page 1 for. If you're in a position like 40 through 100, that's okay. That's like page 3, 4, 5, 6. You can target those as long as they're highly relevant. They have a low number of competing products. I like 2,000 or less competing products. And the CPR 8-day giveaway is, lower the better. I wouldn't go more than 400 or lower. So just doing some more keyword research using Cerebro is the best way to do search, find, buy and boost your ranking. Clint, should I be concerned that even after my brand name was approved, I still cannot change it in my listing? The product is on the way to FBA. Clint, that's okay. A lot of new sellers are having issues with their brand name. And that's something I did want to talk about today, guys. All new sellers are getting this message. I've helped create over 50 listings in the last month. I've helped created over 50 new product listings inside Amazon Seller Central with different accounts. And I can tell you that every single seller is getting the error code 5665. Amazon must approve your brand. I had a little hack before that worked, and that was we'd submit photos of the product with logo on it, packaging with logo, and a screenshot or a link to your website for the brand. We'd send that before we created the listing, and then Amazon would approve us, and then we could go ahead and set up new listings using your brand. Now they've kind of changed their algorithm or what they're accepting. Now they want you to go ahead and create the listing and then submit evidence and proof of your product with logo, packaging with logo, and website for your brand if you have one. And then sometimes they'll let you go back in and change it. Other times they're not letting you change it. So don't worry about it too much. If you had to put your brand initials in the box, if you did enter something like random, that's like not your brand initials. Instead, it's like generic or NA or just random, something that doesn't make sense. I would recommend you use the template email. You submit photos and evidence of your product, your website for the brand, set up a simple website with just one picture, and then Amazon should unlock your account in about 3 days, and you should be able to go in there and change your brand name. But if you just have your brand initials in there, don't worry about it too much. As far as brand name and your title, the brand name, shows below your title. If you don't have your brand name in the brand name box, you can instead just go ahead and put it at the beginning of your title, maybe after the first 2 weeks of launch, because that's when the honeymoon period is going. Your ranking is the most important. Your indexing is the most important. So after the first 2 weeks, then you can go ahead and add your brand name to the first part of your title, but it's not needed when you first get started. And it's okay if you weren't able to change your brand name initials to something else. Okay. We got it fixed. Cannot hear you. Just music. Got that fixed. Brian, going on from a question, if your supplier gives you EXW or FOB price, can you then separately get your shipment delivered under DDP terms by a freight forwarder? Absolutely, you can. Let's say you have a great supplier you're going to work with and you really like their product. They've been super nice. They have great prices. They're able to customize your product. You really have started to build a good relationship. You like that supplier, but they don't offer DDP shipping. That's okay. You can still work with that supplier on EXW or FOB terms. EXW terms, zero shipping included. They're just responsible for making the product, packaging it, and setting it out back of their warehouse for you to pick up. That's EXW terms from your supplier. FOB terms from your supplier gets it to halfway. The supplier would be responsible for making the product, packaging the product, shipping it to a Chinese seaport on the coast of China somewhere. That's FOB terms. And so either one. Now, it does make it simpler if you can find a supplier who can offer DDP shipping, but you don't have to. You can hire your own freight forwarder. There's benefits and pros and cons for using a freight forwarder or using your supplier instead of a freight forwarder. Some of the cons are, they don't really know. The suppliers themselves usually aren't large enough. They use a freight forwarding company themselves. And so they kind of outsource that. Most suppliers aren't large enough to have their own internal freight forwarding company, but some do. So I would go ahead and from a supplier that you want to work with, ask for all three quotes: EXW quote, FOB quote, DDP quote. Ask them what's the price for all three. If they don't offer DDP, no problem. You can hire your own freight forwarder. I use Michelle Yin. She's in my Gladiators Facebook group. If you're not a part of the Gladiators Facebook group, that's a private group that I set up. We have almost 2,000 people in there, sellers that are there to help you. So join the Amazon FBA Gladiators Facebook group. And Michelle Yin is in there. She's my freight forwarder. She does a wonderful job for me and my students. And contact her. She's very helpful. She can quote you DDP prices. And let's talk about the EXW. Zero shipping is kind of nice because then the freight forwarder can go to the factory, can inspect your products, make sure they're packaged properly or repackage them, label them, and then handle your DDP shipping. So that's kind of the benefit of a freight forwarder. They can do inspection. They can make sure the packaging is good. They can label if needed. They can repackage if needed. They know DDP shipping terms. They know how to get the product to Amazon, where sometimes the supplier, the supplier doesn't have their own freight forwarder, so they outsource it, and it's kind of a miscommunication there. But it does make it simpler where you can just pay one time. You're just paying the supplier for the 30% deposit and then the 70% balance. Do you source from China? What's your experience with Chinese suppliers? Yeah, I do. I source all my products from China. I have looked at sourcing and actually was almost ready to order from India. India and Vietnam would be my next two best countries to source from. Of course, it's great and valuable if you can set up, distribution centers and have manufacturers in other countries to limit your risk. I think we saw this in full effect in 2020 as far as coronavirus. The whole country shut down for 2 months. And so diversifying your supply chain, getting manufacturers in other countries like India, Pakistan, Vietnam, wherever, absolutely. You can look on Alibaba for suppliers located there. What I've personally found is it was a lot more expensive to work with the India supplier. They weren't as familiar with Amazon logistics and shipping and requirements. So that was one problem I had with ordering from the India supplier. And then it was like double the shipping costs. So China is just the manufacturing capital of the world. But of course, you can get quotes from other suppliers in different countries. Let me jump over here. Chris, thank you for being here. Robbie, thank you for being here. Joey, I appreciate you being here. Phillips, thank you for being here. I have a question. Do you restock limit? Do you know? I think we covered that. Fasal, thank you for being here. Shub Hankar, thank you for being here. Luis, thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you. And the Sultan, Lauren, thank you for being here. Let me jump on over here and ask some questions here. Curtis, thank you for being here. Tamer, appreciate you. Vanessa, oh yay, she signed up for my mentorship program. I'm super excited to have you, Vanessa. I think you'll find that my mentorship is totally different from all other courses out there, all other mentorships. What's different about my mentorship, guys, is in the very beginning, when I first learned about Amazon, I saw all these people on YouTube we're selling $1,000, $2,000, $500 courses. A course is essentially just a package of videos you watch on your own. Even though their courses say unlimited mentorship, really all you're going to get for mentorship is a private Facebook group to ask your questions in to the other students. Sometimes the coach or mentor's in there answering questions. So courses, just videos you watch on your own, a private Facebook group, and then maybe one group call per month with all the other students in the course. And group calls can be very valuable, but what I didn't think was right is them selling you that $1,000, $2,000, or $500 course and says it comes with mentorship, but really it doesn't. So that's why I decided to offer one-on-one mentorship with the most one-on-one Zoom calls with me. So I'm super excited to have you, and we'll be in touch very, very soon, Vanessa. And then she has a question is, on an average for a new seller, what is the minimum capital they need to launch their first product? Great question. I get this question quite often. And I would say with the 200 unit limit, with being a brand new seller, you can start small or go as large as you would like. Typically, we want to order a minimum of 200 to 500 units of a new product. Now, I've done test launches where I've only ordered 10 or 15 and did a test launch and a test PPC campaign, and then ordered 500 after I had proven data. That's similar to what Project X did. If you guys are familiar with Project X from Helium 10, that's essentially what they cover on that video series on YouTube. So if you're interested in doing like a test launch, but the average capital I'm seeing new sellers needed to get started with is around $3,000. If you have around $3,000, you'll be in good shape. Corey, for search find by keywords, should we include the keywords on your PPC campaigns to avoid search find by people clicking it? No need. That's a good thought. You're smart to think about that. Like if you're paying Rebate Key through their treasure hunt feature, or you're paying AZ Rank or Boost Rooster to do a search find by campaign for certain keywords, should you not run them in PPC because people will click on them? The whole search find by model is they bypass the PPC. So you shouldn't get any, or maybe you'll have 1 out of 10 per day that may click on the PPC ad, but within Rebate Key, the treasure hunt feature, or from a Facebook ad to a landing page, you give the customer clear instructions on they must go onto Amazon under all departments, type in this keyword, go page by page by page until they find your product on page 4 near the bottom of the page. You can put those instructions so they make sure they don't click on the PPC ad. Okay, I hope I answered that one. Good. Benji, thank you for being here. Nathan, I appreciate. Brian is a great mentor. Nathan, you've been, I think, on all my lives. I appreciate, and I just want to say thank you guys. I think this is the most people I've ever had on a live going across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Zoom. So sorry if I am missing any of your guys' questions. I'll try to do these Zooms more often, but we're not done yet. We still got 10, 15 minutes more. Casey, thank you for being here. Hi, Phoenix. Thanks so much for joining me. Ina, I appreciate it. I missed my question. Please tell me again about product restock limits. Product restock limits and storage limits are two separate things. You can check inside your inventory, your Seller Central account, go up to the top left, inventory, go down to inventory planning. And then you'll be taken to a dashboard where you can take a look at your restock levels, your suggested units in stock, and then that will give you an idea on how many you're able to ship in. As far as storage limits, if you have an IPI score 450 or under 450, you're going to be limited to 200 units on a new product. As soon as you get it over 450, your storage units will increase and you can send more than just 200 units. There's no hack or trick to get around only being able to send in 200 units on your first shipment. But don't worry, because if you send in 200 the first time, as long as your product starts selling well every day, making some sales, you should be able to send in another 300, 400 units in about 1 month after launch. And so it's best to store those at your house, store those at your freight forwarder's warehouse here in the US, or store those at a 3PL. Anyways, Nathan, thank you so much for being here. Olga, I appreciate you being here. Erica, thank you for being here. About error code 5665, I asked to register a brand, but for now I don't put logo on the packaging or the product. Let me free the GS1 code. They asked me for a picture, but I don't have logo on it. So creating a new listing, everyone's getting the error code 5665. you're going to have to try some different things in the brand name box, including try generic, try NA, try your brand initials. Try first just going to Amazon and sending them pictures of your product with logo. Now, you mentioned you don't have your product with logo on it or packaging with logo on it. You need to order one custom sample, minimum of one custom sample from your supplier. One custom sample from your supplier that has your brand logo on it. This does not require a trademark, guys. This does not require LLC or brand registry. You essentially come up with a brand name that makes sense for the category or the market you're going to be selling in. You check trademarkia.com or uspto.gov that the brand name's available. You get a logo done on Fiverr or Upwork. You send the logo to the supplier and order at least one custom sample with your logo on it. It's okay if your large order of 200 or 500 units is not going to have the logo on it on the first order for some reason, but you will need to order at least one custom sample with your logo on it. And then you'll submit pictures of that product with logo. The packaging, if you don't have that with logo, you can do something else. Instead of that one, you can set up a quick website. Go to GoDaddy or namecheap.com, buy your brand that you want to use, domain name. So if my brand was Brian's Kitchen Designs, I would go briankitchendesigns.com and buy that brand name or domain name for the brand for $20, $10 on namecheap.com. And then I would use Shopify to free trial to set up a quick one-page website that has at least one picture of my product with brand name on there. Amazon will take a look at that website with your product, one picture of your product with the brand name, and that custom sample you ordered that shows that you had the supplier put the logo on. Those two things should get you the ability to either create new listings going forward, unlocked to create new listings with the brand name, or to change or edit a previous one. And that whole error code 5665, guys, that's only in the very beginning. You only have to do that the very first time you create a listing, and then it's unlocked once you hear back from Amazon and get approval. Schnappe, thank you for being here. What is the ideal or average capital to start FBA? Around $3,000. You know, it could be less. It could be closer to $1,500. It could be closer to $5,000. Start with what you're comfortable with. I know I started my Amazon FBA business 2.5 years ago with $2,600. It was a baby product. I launched it. It took me 6 months. Now that's a long time. It didn't take me that long because I wasn't motivated to start, or like I didn't think it was real. I knew that selling on Amazon worked, but it just took me 6 months to save $2,600 to invest into my first product. I was living paycheck to paycheck, working as a banquet manager and bartender. And I know it's hard out there, especially this past year in 2020. You may have lost your job, and capital is hard. You know, after paying all your bills, there's not much left. And so I understand if it takes some people some time. If you can try to save roughly $2,000 to $3,000, that would be best for launching your first product. You can start a little bit lower, start with a test order of 100 or 200 units. Just realize you'll have to reorder much quicker. Can I put logo on my product using Photoshop? Will this cause a problem with Amazon? You can, and I've done that before, where you have your product, you have a sample, but it doesn't have the logo on it, and you Photoshop the brand name on there. Half the time it'll work, half the time it won't. You just have to really make it look like it's realistic and permanently affixed is what Amazon calls it, permanently affixed. And so you can try that. Photoshop the brand name on the sample, and set up a quick website for your brand that shows the product with logo and then your brand domain name. Those two things should get you approval to list new products with that brand. How can I test 15 or 20 units of a product? It would be too expensive to private label. Does it have to be sold as generic? Yeah, selling 15, just ordering 10 or 15 or 20 units to do a test launch, you're probably going to have to register or sell it as under generic or the brand initials or something like that. The test listing, if you did do a test listing for 10 or 15 units, you wouldn't go forward. After you do the test launch, you don't go forward with being out of stock for a month or two, then ordering, then launching, relaunching that same listing. You create a whole new listing. So test launch, you just order them off Etsy, Walmart, even Amazon, that they're generic looking, and you resell them on your own listing, private label listing, under a generic like that, or brand initials for the test listing. And then you essentially don't restock it after you see how it sells, and you start a new one. Definitely joining your Amazon FBA Gladiators group. I appreciate that. I hope everyone is a part of the FBA Gladiators Facebook group. I'm in there every single day helping and answering questions, and I appreciate all of you that are in that group contributing and just being a part of it. I really appreciate all of you guys in there. Brian, if I use my company name as a brand name, should I have to register it? Two different things. So if your company is already registered as an LLC or S corporation, or your company name is registered, getting a trademark is different. You would have to get a trademark on that company name to get access to brand registry. So two separate things there. You can use your company name on a product, but instead, I would rather you have your storefront name, your company name be the same, and then the brand name, that's the most important one, goes on your products and the packaging and on the listing. That's something more specific to the niche or market versus just a general LLC company name. That's my recommendation. So company name, storefront name is your LLC. The brand name is more specific for the certain category, for the brand you're going to build. And then you have your LLC set up. You'll have to trademark the brand name if you want brand registry. You can still do what we've talked about, submitting photos to Amazon of your product with logo to still be able to list new products with your brand. That doesn't require brand registry, and you don't have to have a trademark or brand registry to launch private label products. Phoenix, thank you for being here. Cassie, appreciate you being here. Nicole, thank you for being here. Ren, appreciate you. Any help with PPC? Not ranking much yet. Any step-by-step tutorial? I do have a real good in-depth tutorial inside the mentorship program and my coaching videos. I have a couple videos on YouTube that I've made within the last few months on PPC. I'm constantly trying to launch more videos, do more videos, especially on PPC, because the algorithm is always changing. There's always new strategies that are working. For example, for PPC right now, I'm seeing that for new products, if you try to target keywords right off the bat that are either too competitive and you do your bids too high, we used to go like 10, 20, 30% over the suggested. I'm actually seeing that doesn't work anymore. Like you'll have zero to low spend. You won't have any orders or clicks on it. Instead, I go like 10 to 30% below the suggested. And for some reason, that algorithm now gets more impressions, more clicks, and orders and sales. It's just weird. It used to be you go over, now going a little bit under for the most part is working best. So the algorithm is always changing, but I will try to make some new PPC videos. Joan, thank you for the question. Did this business help you overcome your addiction? Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Absolutely. I just did a podcast today where I talked about addiction. I struggled with addiction and drug use, not really alcohol use, although it was part of it, 6.5 years ago. And I had a bad drug addiction, I think, for about 5 or 6 years. And there was a time where I either had to get out of the house. My mom did an ultimatum, either get out of the house or go to treatment. I ended up going to treatment and spent 45 days there. Of course, the insurance money runs out and then they say, okay, you're healed. But it was a super powerful experience. And it really, honestly, like changed the course of my life. So I would have, been either in jail, dead, probably not on the right path, not hanging out with the right people, just trying to keep a job. I couldn't keep a job. I was fired every couple months because of the drug addiction. So if you know somebody that has a drug addiction or you yourself struggle, it didn't change until I was ready. I had had enough. And I was determined to become something better. And then as soon as I got back, this is the funny thing how it happened. As soon as I got back from the rehab center and was back home and deciding, what am I going to do? Of course, got a good job. But it was only a week or two later that I learned about selling on Amazon. I was on YouTube. I was researching Warren Buffett, I think, and I came across somebody, I think it was Project Life Mastery, a couple talking about selling on Amazon. And that you could make a full-time income. And I just dove all in. And I would say, yes, part of my success for my businesses, online businesses, the YouTube channel, the Facebook group, the mentorship program, the podcast I've started, business coaching I'll be doing, personal development courses I may be making, writing a book currently. I'd say part of my success or journey is definitely related to the fact that I went from addiction to negative things over to addiction to positive things. Of course, balance is something that's important, and I'm always work in progress trying to become better every single day. But I appreciate the question. Where can I find out more about your coaching program? NoonanUniversity.com/mentorship. NoonanUniversity.com/mentorship. I've got several different options at the bottom, including a 6-week one-on-one mentorship program, an 8-week one-on-one mentorship program. I'm flexible on the time frame. I realize that Chinese New Year is coming up. I realize that there will be delays due to Chinese New Year, so I'm flexible on the time frame. But that my one-on-one mentorship program includes the most one-on-one mentorship for the best price. So make sure you check it out. NoonanUniversity.com/mentorship. Erica, thank you for being here. Pedro, thank you for being here. Super happy you're here. Nicole, Raj, appreciate you being here. Phoenix, my first product is in a super saturated niche. I still have 17 units in stock. How can I get rid of them? I saw an option in manage inventory called liquidation. Erica, I haven't seen that option or haven't used that option, liquidation, inside Seller Central. I would try reducing your price to break even. So if it costs you $5 from the supplier and FBA fees are $5, sell it for 10 or 11. Try to boost your ranking, maybe running a cheap auto campaign, like $10 a day, 35, 45 cent bids to find profitable keywords, or maybe you can go back for any PPC you did run and try to find profitable keywords. You've only got 17 units left. Reduce the price. Try running a coupon code. List them. Maybe do a removal order if you're not able to sell them. Do a removal order. Get Amazon to ship those 17 back to you, or list them on Etsy or Facebook Marketplace or eBay and use Amazon. You could actually just use Amazon as a multiple channel fulfillment with the inventory you have at Amazon. You could sell on eBay, Walmart, Facebook Marketplace, and Walmart, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and Etsy, and essentially have Amazon fulfill those orders. Facebook Marketplace is probably my go-to to try to liquidate, and then eBay. Brian, what drives you so selflessly to give out information has the potential to free people from the, is it due to what drives you to selflessly give out so much information that has the potential to free people from the confines of a 9-to-5 job? Wow. Really appreciate this question. I did a podcast today and with Tony, and he essentially said, Brian, people think you're a bot because of how much you interact and help people. And I would say what drives me is just helping people, providing value. You know, once you get to a certain level with success and earning a certain amount of money, the next best thing is helping somebody. Even if you can help one person a day, it really helps you. So of course you've heard, giving is better than receiving, but really I just go for providing as much value, helping as many people as I can. I understand starting a business in Amazon is challenging and hard. And so I want to be there for everyone to help. And I also take a long-term outlook on things. Most of you probably are looking like, what can my Amazon business make in the next 30 days? How much money can I make in the next 2 months or a month? I take like a 1 to 5 year look. So I'll work hard every day and I don't expect anything to be returned to me for like 1 to 5 years. And so that's something that's helped me. If my brand is registered under health and household, won't it be able to use brand registry and A+ content for the same brand under the home and kitchen category? The trademark will require a new classification for the new category for the home and kitchen category, which is kind of expensive. You can look into what it would cost, but as far as I know, you'd have to pay for another classification fee for the new category and then re-enroll the new product in that new home and kitchen category. How can I get inventory return that is stranded under a hazmat review? Number one, if your product goes under a hazmat review, the first thing I would do is try to get a safety data sheet done, a safety data sheet exemption form filled out either yourself from your supplier, get the safety data sheet or safety exemption. If you can't figure it out how to fill it out with a plan of action, hire somebody on Fiverr who specializes, somebody on Fiverr who's an expert with suspensions and approvals, and pay them to fill it out for you. Safety data sheet or exemption form is number one, the two things I would try first. Then get an expert if you can't get it, who's, you know, maybe $50 for an expert on Fiverr that handles approvals, suspensions, that. And if you still, after all that, can't, create a removal order. If you can't get the listing going, Nathan, create a removal order. You should be able to click on stranded inventory at the top left. Then the next screen, you'll have some options. You can click the little drop down arrow and create fulfillment order. It's either create fulfillment order or create removal order. Have the product shipped back out to you, to your house, or a 3PL. Create a new listing, this time being very careful which category you go in, which subcategory you go in, and go that route in a different category, and be very careful with the words that you use in your new listing. For example, having the word pest in your listing, or antibacterial, or FDA approved. All three of those usually will flag the account and suspend the listing, especially if they're brand new, and make it go under hazmat review or pesticide device. Pesticide device, you have to live in the USA and do an e-learning course. The hazmat, of course, is a safety data sheet or submitting photos of your product and packaging. The packaging also may need the full name and address of the supplier on it. So if you can't get the listing back approved, remove all of it. There's a drop-down arrow to remove all the inventory, make a new listing, being very careful. The words you put in the listing, the category you listed in, new listing, new FNSKU, new shipping plan, new launch. Thank you, Olga. I really appreciate that. Brian is a great mentor. She's one of my mentorship students. Brian, I really appreciate your help. God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. We had so many good people. Great question, guys. Corey, thank you for being here. Curtis, thank you for being here. Stephen, Chris, Raj, Marie, Phoenix, I can't pronounce it, JXVCC. Thank you for being here. A couple more questions. Do you turn off reimbursements in the case that Amazon warehouse guys don't do a good job in analyzing the return product? I've heard that sometimes they push out stuff back into sellable inventory when it should be pushed back, afraid they'll push out something that leads to a bad experience or poor review. Yeah, super important. You go into your settings, return settings, and I select that I must approve the products, and I have them shipped out to me. And then I will either resell them on my own listing as FBM new, or sell them used. And so just check your return settings. There's certain things you can turn on, because yes, you have to be very careful. Even like one complaint from a customer or even a competitor trying to sabotage you, saying item sold used, that was item sold new, but it was used, you can get your listing taken down. So just check your shipping settings and be careful. Have them ship it out to you instead. And then you can approve to either resell it on your own listing with FBM or sell it used on eBay. If I'm running an auto, phrase, broad, and exact campaign at the same time, do I add negative exact in the auto, phrase, broad? You won't have to do that. Your campaigns won't compete against each other. The only time I would use negative targeting in an auto campaign is only for two reasons. I would only negative target a keyword in my auto campaign if I either know that it's got 10 or more clicks, spent $10 or more, and 0 sales, then I would negative it. Roughly those kind of metrics. Or if you're newly launched and you're running a manual exact campaign and spending like $100 or $50 a day budget on it, and you're just going after one keyword, let's say it's ceramic honey pot, and you're spending $50 a day on that one keyword, then I would go ahead and negative in your auto for that first week or two that you're running that big manual exact campaign. Absolutely, Chris. This is my first product. For PPC, what is the best budget per day to start with? Tamer, for new products and new PPC, I set up 2 auto, 3 to 5 manual keyword targeting, and 3 to 5 product targeting campaigns. So auto campaign 1 is a sales driven campaign with around the suggested budget and bids. or around a $15 to $20 a day budget for the first auto. That's sales driven. The second auto is a test, $10 a day, 40-cent bids. That's just a test auto. You set up 2 because you'll get completely different results. Amazon can waste a lot of money with just having 1 auto on a couple of keywords and ASINs. And so setting up 2, you'll get really a lot of different results there. And then for the manual keyword targeting, I do 1 broad, 1 phrase, 1 exact, and then I do 1 that has all 3 match types. And so I'd set up that. Targeting no more than about 10 to 25 keywords per manual keyword targeting campaign. Test all 3 match types until you know which one converts best. And then what really works well, and I really like the best, is product targeting campaigns where you select certain competitors' ASINs that you think you have a good shot at going after. Maybe you have more reviews than they do. Maybe you have better images or a better product or a better price, or your product comes with more stuff. You target those types of competitors, their ASINs in product targeting campaigns. I do no more than 10 ASINs per product targeting campaign. And for a budget, $10 or $15 is fine to start with. And then I optimize every 1 to 2 weeks. All right. Thanks for sharing with us your knowledge. Absolutely. One person leave a review to my friend saying product seems used. From that, Amazon has turned off his listing and he can't turn it on. Yeah, I just mentioned something about that. Just one kind of complaint like that is a problem. And so the best thing you can do is to submit a plan of action of what you're going to do, how it happened, why it happened, evidence to Amazon that your product is brand new, you don't sell used items, is only the best way you can go for. Search volume NA, what does that mean? When you're researching a product and you open X-ray and it says search volume NA, that means you're either not looking at the right keyword, okay, or there's not enough data or not enough people searching for it to even calculate. And so if you are doing product research and you see NA in the search volume, it doesn't mean it's a bad product. It just means you need to go into like Magnet keyword research tool, type in that keyword, and then search, and then sort by search volume, high to low, and then look to see what is the main keywords for that product. Then open up those keywords and then run X-ray, and you'll get a better understanding on search volume and or competition and search volume X-ray data. Thank you, Atmain, thank you, Brian, for your positive energy. And you give me the encouragement to continue. Absolutely, I'm happy I could help. Zubair, 1 a.m. in UK here, and I have to leave for work in 6 hours. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the Gladiators Facebook group. Thank you so much for joining and participating, and I hope I was able to ask some good questions, answer your questions. Edward, any tips on sourcing local wholesale suppliers? I don't do the wholesale model. I've never worked with wholesale distributors, wholesale manufacturers. I can't really give you any tips on negotiating or finding wholesale suppliers other than using Thomasnet and Google to find wholesale suppliers. I just don't have experience with negotiating wholesale deals, setting them up, or sourcing them. Luis, regards, Brian, can't wait to launch my product with your mentorship. Awesome, Luis. I'm happy that you are part of one of my students, and I'm looking forward to helping you launch your product. You've got a good one, like all my students do, have a good one, and I know it's going to sell well. So we'll be in touch, absolutely. Thank you for joining. Well, guys, we went about 1 hour, 15 minutes. I was a little bit delayed getting everything going. I hope that this brought you value. I hope that I was able to answer your questions. Sorry if I skipped over your question. I try to get them all. I know we had some Zoom connection issues with some music in the background, so I apologize for that. And I hope we'll be able to meet again real soon. What I'll try to do is try to do one of these lives like once per month or maybe even twice per month to let you guys know when my next live will be. I always post it on my personal Facebook page, the Gladiators Facebook group page. I will post it there. And then if you're on my email list, I also send it there as well. So Marie, Raj, Luis, Thean, the Sultan, Molamine, Chris, Steven, Vanessa, Tamer, Corey, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great Friday tomorrow and a good weekend. I hope things are going well in your business. Reach out to me if you guys have any questions or I wasn't able to answer your questions today. And we will talk again real soon. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. And check out the mentorship program if you're interested in getting mentorship. That's noonanuniversity.com/mentorship. I'll be accepting just a couple more people for this month and next month. All right, guys. I'm going to end all of these live streams. I've got 4 buttons to press to end Instagram, Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, and I'll see you guys all real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.